In this video, we are mainly focusing on the cognitive behavioral therapy. CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy is the merging of behavioral and cognitive therapies that mostly focuses on working with the client in the present. Cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT is necessarily a type of psychotherapeutic treatment that helps people learn how to identify and change destructive or disturbing thought patterns that have a negative influence on behavior and emotions. It focuses on changing the automatic negative thoughts that can contribute to the worsen emotional difficulties, depression, and anxiety. These spontaneous negative thoughts have a detrimental influence on mood. Through CBT, these thoughts are identified, challenged, and replaced with more objective, realistic thoughts. According to NAMI, or the National Alliance on Mental Illness, cognitive behavioral therapy focuses on exploring relationship among persons' thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. During CBT, a therapist will actively work with a person to uncover unhealthy patterns of thought and how they may be causing self-destructive behaviors and beliefs. The National Health Service of England says that CBT is based on the concept that your thoughts, feelings, physical sensations, and actions are interconnected, and that negative thoughts and feelings can trap you in a vicious cycle. CBT aims to help you deal with overwhelming problems in a more positive way by breaking them down into smaller parts. When we look at the history of cognitive behavioral therapy, it is one of the most extensively researched form of psychotherapy. Over 120 controlled clinical trials were added to the literature in the 8 years between 1986 and 1993, headed by Holland and Beck. Dobson also contributed a lot to the development of CBT. The first approach to CBT to achieve widespread recognition was rational emotive therapy, REBT, originated by Albert Ellis in the mid of 1950s. Today, there are over 325 published outcome studies on cognitive behavioral interventions. This growth is due in part to the ongoing adaptation of CBT for an increasingly wider range of disorders and problems. Yet many questions remaining regarding the overall effectiveness of CBT, its differential effectiveness by disorder, the nature of the control groups by which its effectiveness has been established, and the extent to which its effects persist following the cessation of the treatment. Goals of cognitive therapy: the promotion of self-awareness and emotional intelligence by teaching clients to read their emotions and distinguish healthy from unhealthy feelings, helping clients understand how distorted perceptions and thoughts contribute to painful feelings, the rapid reduction of symptoms with an emphasis on examining the client's current situation and solving current problems, the development of self-control by teaching clients specific techniques to identify and challenge distorted thinking, prevention of future episodes of emotional distress, and development of personal growth by helping clients change core beliefs that are often at the heart of their suffering. The principles and techniques of CBT. Psychoeducation. This forms the basic concept in CBT that one can understand most forms of psychopathology and problematic behaviors within the context of the empirical findings from experimental psychopathology, emotion theory, social psychology, cognitive psychology, decision theory, and other areas of psychology. Second one is monitoring. Self-monitoring is believed to be the most basic and essential part of CBT. Monitoring is used both as an assessment and as a treatment strategy. Third one is cognitive restructuring. Cognitive restructuring is the most essential and theoretically the main mechanism of change in some forms of CBT. The general principle behind cognitive restructuring is examining and analyzing a specific incident that the thoughts that occurred during that incident. The fourth one is in vivo exposure. It is used commonly in CBT for the anxiety disorders. For example, specific phobias, social anxiety disorder, panic disorder with agoraphobia, post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, etc., as well as with a number of other issues including hypochondriasis. The fifth one is imaginal exposure. There are two most common forms of imaginal exposure: memories of traumatic events and imaginal exposure to exaggerated feared outcome. In imaginal exposure, individuals are asked to repeatedly listen to imagined situations which evoke in them negative emotional status. Next one is behavioral activation. Behavioral activation is typically considered one of the core components of CBT for depression. One theory proposes that behavioral activation is a form of exposure for depressed patients who fear failure and therefore do not attempt to engage in pleasure or mastery activities. The last one is homework assignments. Homework is one of the most important element of this cognitive behavioral therapy. The basic concept behind homework assignment is that most cognitive behavioral emotional patterns of living cannot be changed through treatment occurring 1 hour a week. So now let us see certain applications of CBT. CBT treatment usually involves efforts to change thinking patterns. The strategies to change thinking patterns include learning to recognize one's distortions in thinking that are creating problems and then to reevaluate them in light of reality, and gaining a better understanding of the behavior and motivation of others, using problem solving skills to cope with the difficult situations, learning to develop a greater sense of confidence in one's own abilities. Now, CBT treatment also usually involves efforts to change behavioral patterns. These strategies might include facing one's fear instead of avoiding them, using role playing to prepare for potentially problematic interactions with others, learning to calm one's mind and relax one's body. Let's see certain settings in which this CBT can be used effectively. Depression. Antidepressant medication is the most extensively used treatment for depression in the United States. In 1998, CBT was proven to be much superior than antidepressant drugs by Glogen. This conclusion may exaggerate the benefits of CBT since 1998. Generalized anxiety disorder can be taken as another setting. In recent meta-analysis, Gould, Otto, Pollack and Yap looked into the effectiveness of CBT for generalized anxiety disorder in 1997, and they came to the conclusion that it is more effective for generalized anxiety disorder. As a result of various experiments, the scholars came into the conclusion that the CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy can be used effectively in different settings like panic disorder, social phobia, obsessive compulsive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, schizophrenia, marital distress, bulimia nervosa, etc. So now let us see certain advantages and disadvantages of CBT. Advantages. Evidence suggests that the effects of psychological interventions substantially weaken, if not disappear entirely, once the active treatment is discontinued. However, CBT's focus on modifying thinking and transferring the skills learned in therapy to everyday life, treatment effects would be expected to persist following termination. The focus is on enabling the client to overcome similar situations in near future, thus making the client emotionally compatible. Reflections made out of the problem is served to the client to solve problems and thinking and act differently. Disadvantages of CBT. To benefit from CBT, one need to commit oneself to the process. A therapist can help and advise but cannot make problems go away without client's cooperation. Attending regular CBT sessions and carrying out any extra work between sessions can take up a lot of your time. Due to structured nature of CBT, it may not be suitable for people with more complex mental health needs or learning difficulties. As CBT involve confronting emotions and anxieties, one may experience initial periods where one is made more anxious or emotionally uncomfortable. Some critics argue that because CBT only addresses current problems and focuses on specific issues. It does not address the possible underlying causes of mental health conditions such as unhappy childhood. CBT focuses on the individual's capacity to change themselves, their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And it does not address wider problems in systems, families that often have a significant impact on an individual's health and well-being. So, as a conclusion, we can say that numerous research studies suggest that CBT leads to significant improvement in functioning and quality of life. In many studies, CBT has been demonstrated to be as effective as or more effective than other forms of psychological therapy or psychiatric medications. The advances in CBT have been made on the basis of both research and clinical practice. Indeed, CBT is an approach for which there is ample scientific evidence that the methods that have been developed actually produce change. In this manner, CBT differs from many other forms of psychological treatment. The thinking pattern of person is dissected and a positive change is incorporated into to counter destruction caused by negative atmosphere.